I'll give y'all a minute. Surprise y'all. How y'all doing this afternoon? Hit that like button when you come up in this place, please. Appreciate it. We got to get this shit out to the algorithms. Look what I got in the mail. Yeah? Got some good stuff in here. Black Spring with Autumn was good. Appreciate you, Black Spring. We're going to get into it. Quite a few items on the list, but, you know, we got some stuff on the docket. 3 items on the docket so far for that I have lined out for today. We gonna get into it. We're gonna make sure people are informed because to be informed is powerful, right? Knowledge is power, right? Forewarned is forearmed, which is the same thing, right? How's the audio, guys? Where can you find my email? Let me type it in. Excuse me. This should be it. I don't know why there's no hyperlink, but that's my email. How y'all doing, man? Nice, nice. You know, excuse me. A lot of shit going on, man. Um, Woo, these politicians, man, they really on it. They listen. Let me tell you something. If you think there is an actual dichotomy, or that there's an actual split between the left and the right, you got it kind of twisted because when it comes to certain issues, they come together like glue. Let me tell you something. They passed an interesting bill after the Buffalo shooting or situation, right? Now, one might say that something that had something involved in the Buffalo shooting prompted them to come up with this piece of legislation, introduce it and pass it, right? But you know, one might say that that's the ad hoc ergo proctor hoc fallacy. But you know, it's hard to not to notice, right? So we're gonna get into that first. I'm gonna get into what the House passed in response to let me not say in response to the Buffalo shooting. But it's interesting how it came out immediately following the Buffalo shooting. And when you see what the bill is, you're gonna be like, ooh wee, right? That your lip is gonna do what my lip did. Ooh wee. Just like that. You understand? This isn't real soda, by the way. This is Zevia, sweetened by Zevia extract. So it's pretty damn good. If you guys have a sweet tooth and you're trying to reduce the sugar content, there you go, pimpins. And you know they got grape, they got ginger root beer. You know what I'm saying? I'm not endorsed by them or anything, but hey, if you have a sweet tooth and you want to keep the sugar levels down, Kelvin Black was good. So we're gonna get into it, y'all. We're really gonna get into it right now. So what did they pass? Now, there's an interesting timeline involved with this bill, okay? Now, some bills take a while to go through certain committees and all that type of stuff, you know what I'm saying, especially if there's funding involved and anything having to do with enforcing a law or something like that. It has to go through committees, you know, for it to even go to the floor for a vote. But there's an interesting timeline with this here bill. Because when it comes to bills like, let's say stimulus bills that are supposed to help Americans, that takes 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 11, months. But when it comes to shit like giving Ukraine $40 billion, these motherfuckers got mad because Rand Paul delayed that bill for a week. You know what I'm saying? They were mad at it being delayed a week. But look how long it takes for them to pass stimulus packages that are supposed to help the American people. Even the infrastructure bill, right? Even the infrastructure bill, which means millions of jobs, right? Millions of jobs for people, which we need. Not to say that I believe that the government is a good employer, but I mean, it's you know, it's something. And it puts money in people's pockets, anybody that wants to be a contractor that are involved in the infrastructure bill, because these contracts go to civilian contractors, which they have to bid on the work, and they get that money. I'm all for that to a degree. Cut the government out and go straight to the private contractors. We don't need the government to do business with contractors, but that's neither here nor there. I'm just talking about how quickly they pass certain shit and how long they delay other things that are supposed to be a benefit. Okay? And then when it comes to things like gun control bills, that shouldn't even be introduced in the first place. No, we're not going to go there. We're going to get into this this here bill, okay? Yeah. U.S. House passes resolution to combat, what? I'm on the wrong page. Combat this thing right here. Now, I have to be extremely careful about how I phrase certain shit, you know what I'm saying? Because I believe I have one more strike before my channel is completely deleted forever, all right? And come to think of it, you guys need to go to Freedom's March 2, okay? And subscribe to my backup channel. Y'all need to subscribe to my backup channel, Freedom's March 2, and you also need to hit me up in the email, snapzillagorilla@gmail.com, so that I can keep you guys informed on what other channel moves I'm making. Yeah. U.S. House passes resolution to combat this thing. All right? Now, what's interesting is that yeah, the real economy is in the red. Yeah. What's interesting is that the timeline for this, May 22nd, right? Sadly, in this country, incidents of this thing are up 34%, right? That's what they say. But what is this word? What does this word even mean? What is anti-Semitism? Because you guys do know Arabs are Semites, right? Arabs and people in the Mediterranean and, you know, those countries, those are Semites as well. So what are we talking about here exactly? Is it certain forms of Semites that you have a problem with people being anti to, or what? What are we talking about here? And I believe I went over the definition of Semite a while ago, maybe a couple years ago, when the pandemic started. When Donald Trump did his executive order, his anti-Semitism executive order. But this right here, man. In response to increasing violence and harassment targeting Jays in the United States, the House of Representatives last week passed a resolution to denounce this. Out of 421 votes, only one member voted against the resolution, urging to combat this by refuting Holocaust denial, addressing what is it? Refuting Holocaust denial. What does that even mean? Addressing online anti-Semitism. How? On various social media. What is anti-Semitism? And improving security of the J communities. Improving the security of the J communities. I am so proud that my colleagues united to condemn the rise of anti-Semitism by sending a powerful message that the U.S. House of Representatives will call out this ancient hatred. Ancient hatred. Debbie Schultz, Democratic representative from Florida and one of the initiators, said in a statement. Oh, what is this? What the hell happened? That wasn't supposed to happen. But y'all see that, right? Anti-Semitism is a very real threat. Many people think that the UWS is 2J. Some groups have no problem openly targeting us despite significant rise in anti-Semitic hate crimes. Apparently, we do not have the right to safety as all other neighborhoods. What are you talking about? What? I'm sorry. Am I missing something here? What attacks? And then they're not safe in their neighborhoods? I'm just trying to figure this out because I do know that there was a synagogue where there was an attack, right? A couple synagogues. Listen, man. It was echoed by co-signer, Congressman Brad Schneider, Democrat, from Illinois, stressing the importance of the resolution. Sadly, this country incidents in anti-Semitism are up 34%. 2,717 incidents just last year. Congress and America as a whole must stand strong against anti-Semitism. But now, what's interesting, 420 Congress people, 421, voted for this resolution, many of whom are Republicans who would like to say that there's no such thing as racism in this country. There's no oppressive racism. There's no this, that, and the third. But they quick to hop on this bandwagon, ain't they? I'm just saying. See, look. Report 2021 saw most anti-Semitic incidents in a decade. And this is an example of it, right? This right here is an example of it. But let this be on the sign. Let this be spray painted, or let's say the N-word is spray painted on somebody's garage door or something like that. Or, in front of, what the fuck? In front of somebody's house. Oh, we just being too sensitive. It's just a symbol. It ain't do nothing to hurt you. But this shit like this got them a whole bill protecting them exclusively. Protecting exclusively the Jays. And this bill was passed after the Buffalo shooting. And in the manifesto of the Buffalo shooting were some anti-Semitic conspiracy theories, right? Some anti-Semitic conspiracy theories. Then you have this bill getting passed. Well, was the bill already in the works before the shooting happened and they just passed it? Well, some would contend that that's the case. Some will contend that that's the case, right? But what is the actual truth? The Buffalo shooting happened, I believe, on the 16th or something like that, right? Or something like that. Listen, let's go into it. Lipstick Alley. This is some forum, but whatever. These are tweets. These are a series of tweets about this bill that just got passed. Okay, and we're gonna go through this. Excuse me. Now, this guy, Bishop Talbert Swan, says in response to the murder of 10 black people in Buffalo by white supremacists, I don't like that word, white racist. You know, he's not nothing supreme about that guy. The U.S. House of Representatives, by vote of 420 to 1, passed the anti-J hate resolution because the murderer mentioned the J's in the manifesto. That's his assertion, right? And of course, this talking point was used in passing of this bill. But it is very interesting that 10 black people were specifically targeted in Buffalo. And black people were also the subject of this guy's hatred. But did we get a bill? Did black folks get a bill? That's all I want to know. Did black folks get a bill? An anti-black nigga, an anti-black bill? Did that happen? I'm just asking a question here. Did that happen? No, it didn't happen. We didn't get an anti-black bill. We didn't get an anti-black bill. We never have. You know, in the 60s, we got the Civil Rights Act and the Civil Rights Voting Act or whatever, but that wasn't specifically for black people. We have not had anything passed specifically for black people by the left or the right. Ten black people get killed. And then they passed the anti-J bill. Exactly, brave Caucasian. Left wing, right wing, same dirty bird. Exactly. Jay Miller says, we got a statue, though. Yeah, oh yeah, we got a statue. Yeah. Oh, I love them statues. Becky Young says, gee, gotta wonder if this will include the racist squad members in Congress who called for extermination. I mean, that's a good question. That is a good question. If that indeed happened, if there were people in Congress that called for that, yeah, it shouldn't. Hey, I agree with that, Becky. But as we're talking about, what we're talking about right now, the fact that 10 black people were killed in Buffalo, specifically targeted by a white racist, and this comes out, right? As he points out, he believes it is in response to the murder of 10 black people where, you know, the Jays were mentioned in his manifesto. That's what prompted this. And I have to say that I would have to, I'm leaning toward that thought myself. And there was just a one no vote, right? And they mad at that dude. I forgot his name. So his white racist manifesto contained anti-J conspiracy theories. A House resolution condemning anti-Semitism was filed on May 17th. It passed 420 to 1 on May 18th. One whole day later, 4 days after 10 black people were murdered. I mean, good point. 10 days after, 4 days after 10 black people were murdered. That's pretty fucking wild. Now, this person, Persephone or whatever, she ain't got no blue check. This was already posted. It is also an inaccurate summation. The bill was in the works prior to shooting. The problem was the way legislation presented it, the info to the public in the aftermath of the Buffalo shooting. They made it sound like it was in response to the shooting when it wasn't and was en route to pass regardless. Oh, okay. That's what you say, huh? Somebody says thank you for that info. So she's asserting that the bill was already going through and getting ready to pass. That's what she was saying before the shooting. The bill was already in the works. It was already going through and it was already going to pass. Okay. All right. All right. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, what is this person? Trump 24. Bobby lies. This guy right here. In response to this. The bill did not exist prior to 5/17/2022. There is no earlier version. The guy did his research. Condemning rising anti-Semitism. Rep. Schultz, right? And went through the committee, House Judiciary Committee, and a Foreign Affairs Committee. Last action on the 18th, motion to reconsider laid on the table, agreed without objection. Right? It was introduced on the 17th. It was introduced on the 17th of May, 2022. 4 days after the Buffalo shooting, where Jays were mentioned in the manifesto. I'm just saying. All the action, motion to consider, motion to suspend the rules. Suspend the rules. They moved to suspend the rules and agreed to the resolution. They suspended the rules. See what y'all talking about? No, it's all good, Becky. I believe in free speech. You can talk whatever you want to talk about. I'm just saying I'm going to stay on what I'm talking about. You can write whatever you want in the comment section. I believe in free speech. I don't care. You don't have to apologize. No, it's all good. That's a good point though. You made a good point. It's relevant. It's relevant to this. You're right. But we know these politicians are hypocrites. So I'm not mad at you for that. Ask anybody in the chat. I don't censor. So you can say whatever you want. I'm just saying what I'm going to get back on topic. The House proceeding with 40 minutes of debate. 40 minutes. They only debated it for 40 minutes, yo. And they took it as is and passed it in the House. Right? 40 minutes. Considered under suspension of the rules. Move to suspend the rules and agree to a resolution. How many times you got to suspend the rules for this shit? Unanimous consent. Mr. Coleman asked unanimous consent that his motion to suspend the rules and agree to H.R. 1125 be withdrawn. Agree without objection. Debate. The House proceeded with 40 minutes of debate. Another 40 minutes of debate. Consider under suspension. Yeah. Oh no, I'm going up. I'm going in descending order, or I'm going in descending order. I should start from the bottom and go up. Okay, my bad. But the last thing that happened, it was introduced on the 17th. I'm just saying. But no one has thought to introduce a bill to increase the security and to crack down on anti-black remarks or increase security of black communities. No one has done that for black folks. No one in government has saw fit to do anything for black people. I'm just saying, why do we participate in this system? Black as any person, right? As any person. There's no anti-white bill. There's no anti-Caucasian bill. As if you look at it, whites and blacks are the least protected class in this country. Y'all think now there's some white conservatives out there that think blacks are a protected class. We're not. Disabled veterans are a protected class. The Asians are now a protected class. The Jays are a protected class. The LGBTQ community the LMNOP community is a protected class. The Jays are a protected class. The disabled are a protected class. But there is nothing specifically for black people, right? When black people come under attack, right? There's nothing for black people, right? There's nothing for white people. There's nothing for Caucasians. You know what I'm saying? Very interesting. Becky Young says, think they have foreknowledge? Who knows? Who knows with these people, man? I'm pretty sure some geometry people can certainly find some links and connect some dots, right? On a numerological level. But as you can see, there's nothing for black people. Nothing at all. Black people were targeted, black people were killed, right? Waukesha. They say they feel like white people were targeted on the train. They feel like white people were targeted. But they don't have any anti-Caucasian bills. They don't have any anti-black bills. But they have anti-Asian. The only races they have these type of bills for, Asians and the Jays, if you consider that a race. Nothing for this. Well, there are for immigrants. There are bills for immigrants where we have to feed them by law if they come into this country illegally. We have to give them all the baby formula. You know what I'm saying? All that type of shit. But there's nothing like that for the American people. When there's homeless children, when there's homeless adults, there's no bill that protects American homeless people. It seems that we have our priorities all the way fucked up. And not to mention, we had a bill specifically for the Ukrainians, for them to receive $40 billion on top of the $20 billion or whatever it was the first time. $10 billion. A total of $50 billion of our money going to Ukraine. $52 billion. Specifically for Ukrainians. Of course, some of it goes to the Department of Defense. It goes to other, government agencies where they will, of course, use it as a slush fund. But, I mean, I'm pretty sure black people would be happy to take a few $1 billion and, the government, even if the government uses some of it as a slush fund, right? But it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It's time just to move on. We have to end this abusive relationship, right? We have to end this abusive relationship with this entity they call the United States government, this corporation. That's what we have to do. Oh, and what's interesting is Amazon just got a $10 billion contract with the government, with the help of Joe Biden, despite the fact that Joe Biden said they were going to come after Amazon for being anti-union. Amazon is still extremely anti-union, and Joe Biden said, here you go, here's $10 billion. Matter of fact, I think I have it. I have that pulled up. Hold on. Very interesting. Oh, we're coming for you. We're coming for you, Amazon. Okay. Let's see. I don't think I did that. No. Wait a minute. Nope. That's a civil liability. No, damn it. I thought I had that sent to myself. Thought I said, okay. All right, I thought I had that ran up. Well, y'all get it, man. Y'all get it. This is the world we're living in thanks to our illustrious government. And I want to, while they work so hard to ensure that the Jays are comfortable and safe and happy and all that good stuff and make sure their feelings aren't getting hurt, you know, they're constantly pushing to strip our rights away. But what did that New York synagogue do after they had their active shooting situation going? Didn't they bolster their security? They said, you know what? We're not going to wait for the government to do anything for us. We're going to hire some armed guards to protect our synagogue. You think that whenever there was a school shooting, well, you would think that the school would be like, you know what? Let's bolster the security, ensure that we have some good coverage here at our schools because the children are precious. But I don't think they really give a shit about the government. Shouting at Cloud says the Ukraine is basically a CIA banana republic, but it's located in Europe. Yeah. Excuse me. Becky Young says it's supposed to be everyone covered under the Civil Rights Act. However, the protected classes want their rights to be superseded. Everyone, yeah, that's what it sounds like. No one's rights is above anyone else's rights. You know what I'm saying? That's why the whole fight was for equal rights. But, of course, certain protected classes are going to have more rights. That's just what it is. That's just what it is. So, they'd like to think that the fact that there's so many firearms in this country makes it such a violent country. It makes it everything so dangerous. And, 18,000 people are going to die in a minute if there are firearms out on the street or if they have a weapon of war and all this, that, and the third. But in reality, up to 2 million people, or firearms are used up to 2 million times per year to save lives or stop crimes, right? This is in a CDC finding. But, they want to act like it's the opposite. They act like it's 2 million people die a year or something by the use of firearms. It's not even close to the truth. Right now it's about 45,000, 65% of which involve suicide. So it's not a reality that we have a gun problem or a gun epidemic or whatever the case may be. First of all, the gun is nothing but a tool. It's a tool that people use to do certain things with it. It's a tool. Demonizing a tool is not going to solve a problem, but that's the route they like to go to because they want to get rid of the tool. You have to demonize the tool. You have to personify the tool, right? You have to anthropomorphize the tool in order to demonize the tool. So if the tool is just sitting there, not in use, right? And it's not doing anything, that's irrelevant. It takes an individual to pick up that tool and use it irresponsibly or in an evil manner for it to be dangerous, right? Or a negligent individual. But they want you to think, and I think Nancy Pelosi said this dumb shit the other day. The gun is doing the killing or whatever, just like that idiot senator in Florida. And it's completely false. It's a lie, and it's a lie that they push deliberately to scare the shit out of people, to give people this false fear over a firearm. And it's sad that people fall for it. It's sad that people fall for it. But they're not going to highlight stories like this that I'm going to show you. They're not going to highlight stories like this. First, let me read some of your comments. Bucky Young says, you remember before Biden took office when he was talking about black rights leader who asked what Biden admin was doing for them, and Biden said, our agenda is not the same as your agenda. It never will be, never was. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, we know exactly what their agenda is. And they pushing that shit hard. They're pushing their agenda hard, especially after this Uvalde shooting in Buffalo situation. They're pushing this shit hard. But here we have a woman, a female bystander, kills a man firing at a party in West Virginia. This woman saved countless lives. God knows how many lives she saved. One woman with a firearm against one man with a rifle. I'm not going to say it's an assault rifle. It's a rifle. And, you know, people can assault people with it or not. But, as you can see, a U.S. woman has fatally shot a man who opened fire on a crowd of people with a semi-automatic rifle in Charleston, West Virginia. Yep. Dennis Butler, a 37-year-old with an extensive criminal history, was killed after he targeted a group of around 40 people. That could have been easily 10 to 20 to 30 people dead. Attending a birthday party. An extensive criminal record. Extensive criminal history. Which probably means that he did not legally obtain that firearm. Which probably means he didn't go through a background check. So any level of gun control flies out the window and when it comes to this guy. Police spokesman Tony Hazlett said the woman's quick reaction saved lives and may have prevented a mass shooting. Butler had driven by the area earlier on Wednesday evening when he was warned to slow down because children were playing. Now, what if he hit some kids with that car? What if he hit a bunch of kids with the car and killed a number of them? Are we going to ban vehicles? I don't think so. But let's keep going here. Let's see. He returned armed with an AR-15 type rifle and opened fire from his vehicle on the birthday graduation party outside the apartment complex in the city. Mr. Hazlitt told the U.S. News Conference that the woman who fired back did not have any law enforcement background. She has not been identified. She has not been identified. She's just a member of the community who was carrying her weapon lawfully, he said. They know who she is, the police, but they're not going to identify her. They're not going to put her shit on blast, which is good, right? Because who knows who this guy's associated with that might want to seek retaliation. So that's good on the popo in this instance. Good on the popo. Let's see. She's just a member of the community who was carrying her weapon lawfully, whatever that means. Yeah, this thing right here, irrelevant. There's no carrying a weapon lawfully. That's not a thing. And instead of running from the threat, she engaged with the threat and saved several lives. Yeah, several dozen. The woman remained on the scene after the shooting and is cooperating with the investigators. Charges will not be filed against her, as they should not, the police added. Oh, thanks for letting us know. Appreciate you. Butler was found dead at the scene of multiple gunshot wounds. Good for her. Round of applause. Round of applause for this chick. Right? Got to do the man clap. I don't know. I used to watch Def Jam back in the day, Def Comedy Jam. I don't know if y'all familiar with that. Russell Simmons Def Comedy Jam, and I think who was it? I think it was Martin Lawrence was talking about the difference between a clap from like a manly man and a feminine one, right? I'm not going to do the feminine clap, but this is the man clap. You have to have your hands like this and clap like that, right? And then the feminine clap was feminine in nature, so I'm not going to go there. Mr. Hazlitt said it was not clear how Butler obtained the weapon, which he was not legally allowed to carry as a convicted felon. I want y'all to ruminate on that. I want y'all to ruminate, percolate, assassinate, oscillate, penetrate on that. Penetrate on that. I want y'all to penetrate on that. Listen. Mr. Hazlett said it is not yet clear how Butler obtained the weapon, which he was not legally allowed to carry as a convicted felon. Do criminals obey laws? Hell no. Is the fan, do y'all hear the fan? I'm sorry. It's kind of warm. Becky Young says, I'll tell you what they're doing. They're screwing things up so much that people are flipping out because life has become miserable and they lash out. The liberal agenda is dangerous. Yeah, the government agenda in general is dangerous. J.D. Miller said, actually, Snap, ABL did cover that story, though. Oh, okay. Good for him. Black Spring Autumn says it's not going to happen. What's not going to happen, Black Spring? I'm lost. The shooting comes after teenage gunman killed 21 at a Texas primary school with an AR-15 automatic rifle. It's not an automatic rifle, or a semi-automatic rifle. Okay. That had been purchased legally. Legally, not legally, it's not going to make a difference. The attack, America's worst school shooting in a decade, reignited debate over private gun ownership, which is enshrined in the Constitution. It is enshrined in the Constitution. Shall not be infringed. And it shall not be infringed. Shall not. But these motherfuckers constantly violate U.S. Code, 18 U.S. Code 242, and yeah, and we just let them get away with it. You know, we haven't arrested anybody yet. What are they talking about here?
I suffer from nightmares, especially from that day, and survivor's guilt. And it's very hard to get through that because it's like, why did I survive? And all these other people had to.
Very sad. I got one more item, and then we're going to get out of here. Because I have to go play dominoes. I got to go play dominoes and Uno with the kids. So, one more item, and this item involves more debunking. Woo! More debunking of B. Tatum's assertion that we don't know police tactics, and so we ain't got no cause to say that the cops, the police department, were cowards and this, that, and third because we don't know anything about tactics and police tactics and blah, blah, blah. Well, here is some more accounts, right? Or more analyzing or more analysis from, here's analysis from two people involved in law enforcement who have a little bit of a different take than B. Tatum. So we're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into it, and then I'm gonna roll on out of here. Shana Cloud says, shooter was killed just before 1 p.m., but police were there at 11:31 a.m. So it was close to 90 minutes, and they did nothing. They even blocked the border patrol for 36 minutes. All right, a lot of dust in here. Anyway, so. Here you got two guys. They're going to talk about this Uvalde police response in regards to the shooting that happened the other day. And they're going to give their take on how it was handled. Okay, so that's what we're going to get into. This is just another impeachment of Brandon Tatum's ridiculous take and ridiculous pandering and caping for the police. All right.
And Michael Julian, active shooter survival instructor. All right, Chad, in terms of the proper assistant SWAT team commander, and Michael Julian, active shooter survival instructor. All right, Chad, in terms of the proper protocol, from what I understand, waiting an hour is not it. Aren't you supposed to run right towards the fire and eliminate the shooter as fast as humanly possible?
You're exactly right, Jesse, and that's how we train, is the moment that call comes out, you don't wait on your backup. You go straight there. If you can't get through the front door, you drive your patrol car through the front door. You have to get in there, just like you finished talking about. Every second is another life, and we know that you can bleed out in 3 to 5 minutes. It's absolutely devastating. And it looks like once they got in there, they got hung up at a door. There's reports talking about, that they needed a key, and they couldn't get a key. Look, there's Knox boxes for firemen to get in. It's very frustrating.
And that was the most ridiculous thing ever. Oh, the door was like, we couldn't get in the door. Since when do they have a problem breaking down doors? Since when do police have a problem busting down doors? They don't have a problem with that. They'll use a batter ram on a motherfucking tank if they have to. And they've done it plenty of times. But they couldn't do this. They couldn't get in there and save these children. Or as many children as they could.
Ways to breach that door or tools. And again, look, it's very early, Jesse. We don't know all the facts and the exact timeline yet. So I want to be careful to Monday morning quarterback anything, but you're absolutely right. Our job is to get in there and to eliminate and neutralize that threat as quickly as possible.
Yeah, Michael, what is your assessment of what went down during that hour while they waited for tactical to come?
Yeah, same as Chad. I wasn't there, but based on what I'm being told, there was a lot of mistakes made. It's very unfortunate. The reason you have got to engage immediately is for the gunman's going to do one of three things. Re-engage the law enforcement. They're going to try and escape, but more often than not, they're going to kill themselves. But either way, whatever they're doing, they're now not trying to kill innocents. So the sooner you engage and get in there and make that happen, the sooner the thing's going to end.
Yeah. Chad, I imagine there was a window in the classroom. I mean, it's a first-story building. All these classrooms have at least one window. Would someone have thought maybe just to circle around to the outside, probably while the shooters focused on the door, and maybe try to get a shot through the window?
What did I say last night? You draw his attention, you draw his fire in one direction, and clap him from the other direction. This is not something, I mean, common sense tells you that. But Brandon Tatum would have you believe that there was no way that they could have did this. There was no way they can get in there as soon as possible. They had to wait for SWAT. It's nonsense. Sheldon Cloud says it was Border Patrol team who killed him. The story of the off-duty patrol officer during was wrong. He went there for his kid and cleared some. I bet he did. So Offer engaged and got shot. Story that was a lie. Then there was no reason. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of shit, a lot of holes. Yeah, that's what I'm doing, Jay Millich. Because we are not going to sit up here and let these motherfucking pigs get away with nothing. You understand? And here you have you have a former police officer, and then you have this other guy who's a active shooter response trainer. They know what's up. This guy knows what's up. Fox News knows what's up. Everybody knows what's up. Everybody know that the Uvalde police department did not do their job as it was outlined but we know about they don't really have a duty to protect anybody, but I'm just saying in terms of what the protocol is, if that's your protocol for your police department, then you better act on that protocol and get it popping. But they didn't want to do that. They wanted to wait for SWAT. or Border Patrol SWAT. Not even, you know what I'm saying? Border Patrol SWAT. So let's come on, man. Let's knock off the okie doke.
Because the kids are short and they're on the ground. And this guy's 18, he's tall, his head's sticking right out. Why couldn't you just put one right through his head through the window?
Well, that's what I'm having trouble understanding, because there are reports out there, Jesse, where they were breaking windows to get other students out. Why weren't they breaking the window, to get those students out, or to take a shot to eliminate that? Here in the upstate of South Carolina, many of the schools have numbers on the exterior windows, and that is for that reason, for law enforcement to be able to see and know what room they're in from the outside, and hopefully be able to breach that window and take a shot and end this thing as quick as possible.
Michael, what else tactically went wrong here besides the waiting around? So he crashes his vehicle. Police are aware about the grandmother being shot in the face. He's firing rounds at a funeral home across the street. He's ripping off rounds into the school.
They're saying that he was not chased to this location. Why is his vehicle all smashed up? Why is the vehicle all smashed up in a ditch if he wasn't being chased to this location? What the hell? I mean, come on, man. Make it make sense.
He walks in. There's a 12-minute gap right there before he even enters the school. What else do you have to say?
Well, from what I understand from somebody that was in the governor's briefing initially, they actually had gotten word the grandmother was successful in calling. They knew and sat on the information and did not immediately act and shut the school down.
What?
That's how he was able to actually.
What? Now, the Officer Tatum claims to have birdies within the Uvalde Police Department. He claimed to have little birdies. I wonder if his birdies told him the same shit his birdies, this guy, told him. Let's see. I don't know.
Act and shut the school down. That actually, they. Well, from what I understand from somebody that was in the governor's briefing initially, they actually had gotten word the grandmother was successful in calling. They knew and sat on the information and did not immediately act and shut the school down.
Sat on the information and sat on the information and not shut down the school immediately. Why not? Why would they sit on that information and not shut the school down immediately? Is it just incompetence? I know Occam's razor and all that, but was it really just incompetence? Why would you not shut the school down immediately? With all this going on with school shootings and all this other shit, why would you not shut the school down immediately?
That's how he was able to actually gain entrance to it. Then not going in immediately. I mean, we learned after Columbine that you have got to get in. You don't set up a perimeter and wait for SWAT or anything. As soon as the second officer arrives, you go.
What'd he say? You don't sit around and wait for SWAT to arrive. But according to Brandon Tatum, that's what they were supposed to do. No. And this bullshit about barricade the subject, no, it doesn't apply when it comes to a man with a gun around children. There is no barricaded subject scenario. No hostage taking scenario. You treat it as an active shooting. I proved that yesterday.
Go in as a team and you engage. So just the waiting
What did I say?
And not knowing, I'm guessing.
What did I say? You form teams yesterday? I said yesterday you form teams and you go in the building in different directions. You take different routes and different points of egress and different points of ingress. And you find a way to get in that room. You use distraction, right? You draw fire over here. I'm going to draw the fire over here. He was already shooting in this direction. He's only 18 years old. I doubt he has any real tactical experience. So we're gonna shoot in this. We're gonna draw his fire this direction while you come from this direction, or while you come from the window, or through the window. You form a team and you go in. That's what I said.
I wasn't there. I'm guessing the training is not recent, not up to date, and that led to a lot of these problems. Just the waiting and not knowing, I'm guessing, I wasn't there, I'm guessing the training is not recent, not up to date, and that led to a lot of these problems.
Yeah, Chad, isn't that the lesson after Columbine? You don't wait for tactical, you go in right away. I mean, shouldn't that bit have pounded into their training manual? I mean, from the jump? Columbine was in 1999.
Exactly. That's where tactics started to change. Let's take Columbine out of it and look at the Parkland shooting. We saw the results that happened there at Parkland, what happens when you stand outside. And now here we are in 2022, and we're still seeing this. This is what we sign up for.
You know why you still seeing it? Because they're fucking cowards. They're cowards. They don't want to risk their life to save these children. Even though, like he said, that's what they signed up for. That's what you took the job for, right? Why'd you take the job?
Stand outside. And now here we are in 2022, and we're still seeing this. This is what we sign up for, is we have to go towards the sound of gunfire and put our lives ahead of anybody else's. And like I said, it's going to be interesting, Jesse, over the next week or two, as this timeline and body cam footage comes out, and we're really able to get a better idea of this. But I just can't imagine standing outside of a door where there's all these little elementary school kids inside. Look, 44% of these events are over in less than a minute. 15% of them are over in 5 to 15 minutes, which means a total of 85% are over in 5 minutes or less. So none of these attacks, and this was from a Secret Service study, none of these attacks lasted longer than 15 minutes. So I agree with Michael. This is it appears to be a training scar somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, at least you got to get into the door just to give aid to the kids who were bleeding out. I mean, just that alone to rescue the kids who were already shot just makes your heart break. All right.
And just think about that.
Chad, Michael, thank you guys.
Think about it. What if there were kids that were shot, that were wounded, and were bleeding out? It takes what, about 15 minutes to bleed out, or something like that, 3 to 5 minutes to bleed out, depending on where you're shot. They had to wait an hour. They're dead because you took too long to get in there. You could have saved lives. You could have done CPR. You could resuscitation. There are things you could have done. You could have got EMTs in there to try to save these kids that were wounded and not yet dead, but they're probably dead now. Because remember, it was 11 kids. First, it was like 5 kids. Then it was 11 kids. Then it was 19 kids. Why? Because they died later on. Because it took too long to get to them. Had they done their job, had they not been cowards, they would have been saved. Probably. I'm not going to say that for sure. But we know what's up. These two, hey, just more evidence that Brandon Tatum, Mr. former SWAT, Mr. Police Tactics, got it wrong. But y'all can keep listening to him. It's all good. I mean, hey, a broken clock is once right, twice a day. You understand what I'm saying? So, with that being said, I'm going to get on out of here, man. Let's see. Charlotte Cloud says Tatum is not human. Okay. Excuse me. He also said the vehicle looks like it was wrecked at a four-way intersection. Did they move the vehicle? I don't know. But the wheels were off, all type of shit. Chanel Cloud says, well, those children are safe from Modelo 19 forever. Yeah, they are dead. They'd evacuate the building and shut it down. Yeah, they would shut the school down for Wu Flu. You're indeed correct. But anyway, I'm gonna get on out of here. Like, share, subscribe, all that good shit. Let's keep marching forward. Listen, these people are continuing to come after our rights, man. We know that no level of gun control is going to prevent something like this, right? But what we do know is empowering the people saves lives. How do we know that? How do we know that? Because of this right here. Empowered people save lives. Yeah. They'll save their own lives and the people within their sphere of influence. There were no cops at that party. Okay? It was this woman with her own firearm. Laid the punk out. Could have killed, I don't know how many, maybe 10, 20, 30, 40 people were there. She stopped it. He didn't kill one person, even though he fired into the crowd. This woman is a hero who used a firearm, a tool, to save lives. I'm not going to do what the freedom snatchers are doing, right? I'm not going to personify the pistol that she used. I'm not going to anthropomorphize the pistol. I'm not going to say that firearm saved lives. God knows how many lives that firearm saved. No. What I'm going to say is this woman saved lives using a firearm. Yeah, because that's logical. And that's how we roll. Logos. That's my go-to. Logos and ethos. Get that pathos bullshit out of here. But that's what they use. Peep the pathos and don't get caught up. Anyway, much love, like, share, subscribe, and let's keep marching forward toward freedom. Peace.